Tonight, multiple Spencer Gulf councillors, including 2 mayors, caught up in the campaign's return chaos. And a huge boost for healthcare in Broken Hill. 23 newly graduated nurses and midwives kick off their careers in the far west.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf studios, your nightly news with Madeline Kerr begins now.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. First tonight, the local government paperwork crisis has hit the Spencer Gulf. The jobs of councillors in Port Augusta, Whyalla and Tumby Bay are now in limbo after elected members failed to submit campaign return forms to the Electoral Commission within the allocated time frame. Reporter Daniel Pizarro has more.
Maddie, late last week, the Minister for Local Government, Jeff Brock, announced that almost 50 elected local government councillors could lose their seats after failing to properly lodge their returns to the Electoral Commission. Now, 7 Spencer Gulf News can reveal just how many local councillors could be out of a job in our region. Councillor John Naisbitt, a stalwart on Port Augusta City Council, was re-elected back in November. But now his future is uncertain after confirming he is one of the 46 councillors across the state to potentially lose their seats after failing to properly file return forms to the Electoral Commission. On the Commission's website, Councillor Naisbitt submitted 2 documents, saying he had received no gifts during his time on council. In a statement provided to 7 Spencer Gulf News, CEO John Banks confirmed Mr Naisbitt was no longer a councillor since Friday, as he didn't submit the required paperwork by the due date. Mr Banks said this does not impact Council's ability to deliver for the Port Augusta community nor the day-to-day activities of running the city, with the remaining council members continuing to meet to make decisions on behalf of the community. Other councillors who may be affected include Whyalla Mayor Phil Stone and councillors Catherine Campbell and Sharon Todd. As of Saturday, the trio are no longer council members. In a post on Facebook, Whyalla City Council says the affected members will have to submit an appeal to the South Australian Civil Administrative Tribunal by next Monday. From there, SACAT will decide if the individuals are to be restored to their roles. In the meantime, their positions will remain vacant. Whyalla City Council is holding a special meeting tonight to decide who will be acting mayor in the interim. Meantime, further south, Tumby Bay Mayor Jeff Churchill could also be on the chopping block. His documents were submitted after the cut-off date for unopposed candidates. Now, in that same statement that was provided to 7 Spencer Gulf News, Port Augusta City Council CEO John Banks says that Mr Naisbitt can appeal to the South Australian Administrative Tribunal by February 20th, so he has 7 days to decide what he wants to do with his political career, and of course the tribunal could find in his favour. Maddie, back to you.
Daniel, thank you. Also making news today, a notorious section of the Augusta Highway that has claimed many a vehicle is set to become a lot safer to drive on. New speed restrictions have been proposed, but not everyone is happy.
Another day on the Augusta Highway at Stirling North and another driver dicing with death. This near miss captured on dashcam this month at the intersection of the Highway and Rangeview Road, where accidents are far from uncommon. Now the speed along this stretch of highway will be reduced from 110 kilometres per hour to just 80 after the state government agreed to a request from Port Augusta City Council.
Welcome the decision to go ahead and extend the 80 kilometre zone along that stretch of road. Road safety and our community safety is absolutely vital and paramount, and we go ahead and we've done a lot of lobbying. There have been many people that have lobbied for many years around that particular stretch of road.
The changes come at a time when South Australia's road death toll has already reached 19, the highest it's been at this time of the year in over a decade, with the national road toll striking a 5-year high in 2022, with 1,187 deaths. Earlier this month, SAPOL issued an urgent message to motorists.
If you engage in risk-taking behaviour, like I've just mentioned, dangerous driving, speeding, alcohol and drugs, seatbelts or distracted driving, you are much more likely to wind up in a crash that either kills you or some innocent person or causes serious injury crashes.
Losing far too many people to road safety challenges and issues, and obviously we're losing a lot of regional people to those unfortunate situations, and we need to go ahead and do whatever we can as communities to make some sense of some of the areas which we might think are challenging.
The new restrictions will come into force in just over 2 months' time, but some locals have complained online about a lack of consultation regarding the impending changes. Daniel Pizarro, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The Far West Local Health District welcomed 23 newly registered nurses and midwives today. This cohort is part of 3,600 graduates who will begin work across 130 public hospitals across the state.
Taking the next step in their careers. New nurses and midwives going through orientation and getting to know new colleagues.
It's been wonderful so far. I've really enjoyed the warmer weather and just sort of the really welcoming people. That's been the best bit so far.
While some people will new to Broken Hill, some were just about local.
I spent a bit of time out in the health district last year. I was privileged enough to be part of the extended nursing placement program, so I spent about 5 months in the region and then a little bit in Victoria as well.
While there were also some locals who were ready to take the next step in their new careers.
Technically my second orientation. Being a local, I got to start a little bit earlier than the rest, but I'm still very excited to join the whole cohort and get to know everyone.
Jessica Theo-Haridis, another graduate from Broken Hill, had already been an enrolled nurse at the hospital for the past 2 years.
I've just recently graduated as a registered nurse through Charles Darwin University, and I've worked now as a registered nurse for the past 1 to 2 months at the surgical ward, which is where I've been for the last 2 years.
Staff are happy that these graduates have chosen to come out to the district, with today all about easing them into their new environments.
Basically what the district is like. We talk about the different district sites and specialties that we have in the Broken Hill Health Service.
After today, some will stay in the Silver City, while others will go out to Wentworth, Ivanhoe, Wilkenya and Tibooburra. Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, what's below the surface? Why cameras have been installed under local jetties? And what a show! The ever-talented Kim Churchill stops by Broken Hill for an unforgettable performance at Theatre 44. Welcome back. OzOcean is a not-for-profit organisation that is passionate about helping our waterways thrive with the help of technology. And through the installation of low-cost cameras, the company is providing us with the opportunity to discover what is lurking below the surface of some South Australia's most iconic jetties.
The first jetty camera OzOcean installed was at Rapid Bay, which received a lot of positive feedback.
And so we thought, why should we stop there? Why don't we design another system? And we put out the feelers on social media to see where people would want to see another one, and a common response was the Edithburgh jetty.
Edithburgh is a popular spot among divers and snorkelers, as there is plenty of marine life to see. And now you can go underwater in the comfort of your own living room.
So you can see lots of sponges and ascidians growing on the jetty pylons. You can also see a range of common temperate fish species.
The live video stream is available to watch on YouTube and also lets viewers talk with one another, communicating in real time about what they're seeing. The underwater jetty cam has intrigued people from all over the world.
It's pretty cool to put South Australia on the map and show people, hey, this is what we've got in our backyard, which is really special.
OzOcean would love to provide more communities with this technology and will continue to brainstorm ideas. To start exploring the marine life under South Australian jetties, visit OzOcean's YouTube page. Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Folk singer Kim Churchill stopped by Broken Hill yesterday to promote his new album, Dawn Sounds. The multi-instrumentalist performed an intimate set, while a local artist from Adelaide warmed up the crowd beforehand.
Theatre 44 setting the scene for a great night of music. Kim Churchill loving the chance to play in Broken Hill and perform songs from his new album.
To come down to meet everybody, to be a part of Theatre 44, to meet sort of all the people that run the place and have this experience, it's been a ridiculously nice day.
Growing up in Merimbula, a town on the New South Wales far south coast, the singer relished the chance to be in the city he had heard about, even though he grew up some 1,200 kilometres away.
I was saying to some ladies that were buying a vinyl before, it's like, Broken Hill's kind of famous. I don't know why. Like, I knew about it. Even in primary school, I knew about Broken Hill. I think the name always captivated me.
Mr. Churchill saying the Silver City is also a good place for an artist to find inspiration.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's exactly the kind of place I would sort of come and hide away and just like connect with the desert and connect with the land and write some music. And it'd be music that I wouldn't be able to write anywhere else.
When recording Dawn Sounds, the singer did most of his work in the early mornings. He found he was most creative at sunrise. Discovering that was a game changer.
It was beautiful for me. It was like this wellspring of material, and I was able to be really honest with myself during the morning. And then there's all the inspiration of the sky filling with blue and the birds starting to sing and the gentle sounds of people going to work in the background.
Bellingen is the next stop on the Dawn Sounds tour. Joshua Mercer, 7, Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. Cracking down on drug driving. SAPOL granted new powers in an attempt to curb dangerous behaviour. And Cornish Happiness, Copper Coast Council eagerly organising the next instalment of a beloved festival. Welcome back to 7 Spencer Gulf News this Monday. From today, anyone caught driving with drugs in their system on South Australian roads will lose their licence on the spot. The tough new laws will also give officers the powers to enforce tougher fines and longer jail time onto speeders and unlicensed drivers. 2023 has been the worst start to the year on SA roads in a decade, and Assistant Commissioner Ian Parrott says too often a dangerous driver is to blame.
20% of lives lost over the last 5 years have been as a result of people using drugs and driving. And we're talking about ice, methamphetamine, ecstasy, cannabis, those drugs that we know impair drivers' ability to drive on the roads. In fact, last year, over 5,500 people were caught drug driving in South Australia.
Assistant Commissioner Parrott says the new laws will act as a significant deterrent to anyone thinking of using drugs before getting behind the wheel, as the impact is immediate. Also starting today, drivers caught speeding 45 kilometres an hour or more over the limit can expect a $5,000 fine, nearly triple the previous penalty. Kernawek Loenda means Cornish happiness. And that is exactly how everyone feels when the world's largest Cornish festival comes to the Copper Coast. Being the event's 50th year, the team is working overtime to ensure it's the best one yet.
Every 2 years, the Copper Coast goes all out to celebrate the area's unique Cornish heritage and history. And the festival has certainly stood the test of time, first taking place back in 1973.
Quite a small program of events because it was the first one, and they launched that and were absolutely overwhelmed with the number of people that came to Australia's Little Cornwall, which is what we're also known as.
From then, the event has only grown, but some traditions have stuck, such as the street parade, maypole dancing and the Cornish pasty bake-off. This year's celebrations will run from the 15th until the 21st of May, with the biggest events taking place on the weekend.
Really exciting program that covers a lot of things and something for everyone, whether it's families with young children right through to elderly people who want to come along and just sort of become a part of what's happening.
The Copper Coast will be a visual feast during this time, and it's the perfect opportunity to experience what else regional South Australia has to offer.
And also for those that haven't been, to come and just see what it's all about and immerse themselves in something that's quite unique and they won't find anywhere else in Australia.
Annabelle Francis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A Whyalla racer has had a night to remember at the National Formula 500 Championships over the weekend. Angelo Carusas, racing in car 27, finished third in the feature race in Perth. He had to do it the hard way, finding himself midfield early on before climbing the leaderboard. Reaching third with 10 laps to go, he held on to secure a place on the podium.
I was pretty ordinary at the start and went back quite a ways, and then sort of just managed to get it free enough that I could rotate and get through the bottom, and there's a fair bit of carnage throughout the field.
Tasmania's Dylan Beveridge was the eventual winner, taking out the title for the second year in a row. Stay with us after the break. Our reporter Alison Hall recaps all the cricket played across the Spencer Gulf over the weekend. And no sign of summer slowing down. We'll have the weather details with Alex Sykes. Welcome back. Beautiful conditions made for some great cricket over the weekend. So much so that in Whyalla, Northies played twice, including a face-off with top of the ladder Rupina. Here's Alison Hall with this week's Cricket Wrap.
In Whyalla on Sunday, Northies were eager to take Rupina's place at the top of the league by sending Matthew Quist and Lachlan Phillips onto the crease first. Quist showing fine form as per usual, only bested by Joel Harris, bowling him out for 34. However, it was North's David Atkinson who stole the show, posting a beautiful 47 runs for the team. With the Magpies' final score of 150 runs, Rupina had their work cut out for them. Dale Shenilworth and Kian Nielsen batted first for the Roos, with Nielsen quickly dismissed for a duck. Parth Patel was the breadwinner for the Roos with 37 runs before getting out by LBW. Despite their effort, Roos couldn't catch Northie's score, with Northies winning the game 150 to Rupina's 108. In Whyalla's other game, Central's performance was enough to hold off Northies, winning that match 7 for 147 compared to the Magpies' 10 for 122. Over in Port Augusta, Southies struck out against Corn on their own turf with 5 for 61 compared to Corn's 10 for 60. At Shinnery Park, the Central Tigers won the toss and elected to bat first, winning against the Westies by 37 runs. In Port Lincoln, Charlton took on Southern Air, who won with the help of batsman Liam O'Day and his 60 runs. Charlton ended with 10 for 118 versus Southern Air's 7 for 191. Wayback and Todd River kept onlookers on their toes with a close game, winning by 1 run. In Port Pirie, Southport only just held off the Sharks with 7 for 112 compared to 10 for 110. At Broken Hill's Jubilee Oval, Central smashed West, besting their score with only 3 batsmen. Jared Paul bringing it home for Centrals with 30 not out. It was an even greater thrashing in the second game at Alma Oval, with North Broken Hill besting the Roos with 0 for 51 compared to their 10 for 50. Props to Benjamin Jerd and Luke Hall for the team's victory. What a weekend for some cricket in the sun. Tune in tomorrow night where we'll have a breakdown of all the region's other sporting results.
Thanks for that, Alison, and welcome to the team. It's wonderful to have you on. But it's time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather with Alex Sykes. Alex, it got down to the single digits in some places this morning.
Indeed, Maddie. Kadina, Snowtown and Cummins all recorded overnight lows below 10 degrees, but it didn't stay like that for long. Port Augusta recorded exactly 29 degrees just before 3 p.m. this afternoon. It was 27.6 degrees in Broken Hill earlier this afternoon, rounded up to 28 on your screen, while Kadina warmed up to 27 by mid-afternoon. Looking more broadly at today's weather map now, 36 was the warmest temp recorded in our region. That was in Cooper Pedy. Port Pirie topped 29 today, 28 in Woodner, 25 in Whyalla and Adelaide, just 22 in Port Lincoln. Taking a look at the satellite image now, a high pressure system south of the Bight will move across to the Tasman Sea early Wednesday, allowing a trough to move over western waters on Thursday. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Southeasterly winds 15 to 20 knots, turning easterly and easing to about 10 knots by the middle of the day. Seas between 1 to 1.5 metres, decreasing below 1 metre, and south to southwesterly swell below 1 metre, increasing up to 1.5. Cloud clearing around Port Lincoln tomorrow, between 15 and 25 degrees there. A sunny top of 29 in Cleve and Woodner, warm, and 33. Blue skies in Whyalla and Kadina on Thursday, both heading for a top of 30 degrees there. Bit warmer in Port Augusta, 33, Port Pirie sunny and 32. But down to just 12 tonight. Between 10 and 29 in Clare, sunny in Broken Hill, 30 degrees there tomorrow. Some south to southwesterly winds becoming light in the evening. Taking a look further through the week now, starting with Wednesday's weather map, 40 degrees on the way for Woodner. Not much better in Port Augusta or Cooper Pedy, 39 there, 38 in Whyalla and Port Pirie. Broken Hill and Adelaide can expect around 35 degrees, 31 in Port Lincoln. Moving on to Thursday's outlook now, and what can I say? Do be careful if you have to go outdoors on Thursday. It's set to be a hot one. 43 degrees is forecast for Port Augusta, 42 in Port Pirie, 41 in Whyalla, and it'll be even warmer in Port Lincoln, heading for a top of 37. And finally, taking a quick look at how Friday is shaping up, Broken Hill will experience some more 40-degree weather. 42 on Friday. The heat is backing off elsewhere though, 23 in Port Lincoln, 27 in Whyalla. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. I'll see you a little later with an update. It's back to you, Maddie.
Thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Monday. I'm Madeline Kerr. From all of us here, thanks so much for joining us. I'll have updates a little later, but until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.